myself. There we go. Okay. Got it. Okay. I think everything is where it needs to be. I was looking at a National Geographic we got today while we were out. While I was looking for this. Elle should be along shortly. Okay. I refilled my glue. I think it might be a little liquidy. Hey, Adria, how you doing? I think you're the first one. Oh, here's Elle's. I see her back there. Okay. There we go. Hello, Els. Hello. I got to turn my volume up a little bit. I can barely hear. Okay, I think I can hear now.
Can you hear me now?
I can, and we're doing a commercial, apparently. What network was that? T-Mobile? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Mari! Adria! I refilled my glue.
I have to get crap off my desk.
I put your juice on your desk.
I saw that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're a very nice lady.
You take that back right now.
Bitch.
Thank you. I hate it when people misrepresent me. How are the lovely ladies on Murder Monday? I hope you're doing well. Okay. Let me pull some of this stuff down here. There's googly eyes everywhere on my desk. The googly eye invasion. Okay. Carla!
Carla!
She says, crap on my desk.
I feel you.
Okay, I got to figure out what page I want to work on today.
Pick a page.
It's important.
Pick a page, any page.
I don't think just any page will do.
Okay. Pick a good page.
Is there such a thing?
Yes.
The serial killer book, do we have good pages?
Yeah. Plot twists and misnomers, misconceptions.
I will have you guys know that Elf was teasing me about what the case was going to be today, but she would not tell me what it is.
I gave you hints.
I remember you telling me something about you knowing somebody who was affected by a serial killer. But, you know, memory like a sieve.
Yeah, I've heard that about you.
Maybe we'll work on the back of this page. It's flippy flappy. Flippy flappy, flippy flappy, flippy. Oh, sorry. I had a moment.
Okay.
It was exciting for me. I don't know what to tell you.
I made a big mistake.
You what?
I made a mistake.
You made a mistake and you're admitting it?
Yeah.
Well, do tell.
I put away my project case before I finished filming.
Yes.
So I got all the bits and parts sitting here and no place to put them.
Uh-oh. Well, that's a thing.
All right. Now I got that all put away.
I need like a tag to go right there. A little Where's my ink? Oh, and look at what I get to play with today. My new inkies. Nope, I don't get any kind of prior notice. Every now and then we'll discuss something that becomes a thing on here. But I don't know why we're discussing it. It's just, read a serial killer. Read a serial killer. Am I missing something? They are denying it to... So who has a serial killer, Carla? I'm confused. Because I get to play with my new inkies. Inky poos. Look at all those inks to choose from. Plus one called Rich Cocoa and Tuxedo Black. Ooh, I have Paris Dusk. Ladybug. Cantaloupe. Dandelion. Ooh, Pear Tart.
You're not going to believe this.
New Sprout. What?
You know that thing that I showed you earlier?
Maybe.
The really sickeningly cute thing?
Yes.
Okay, so I showed it to you. I showed it to Sash. I walked out here, and it has disappeared.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Didn't do it.
Mike, I did not do it. It was not me.
Oh, wait, I found it. No, that's not it.
Did the dog eat it or the cat take it?
That's a possibility.
So, Austin, Texas possibly has a serial killer, Carla says. Adrian's like, dang, you got ink. Yes. And I'm super excited. Okay, I need something for right here. Oh, I was in the middle of trying to get a hold of something. I remember now.
I don't know what the hell I did with it.
Were you going to show it?
No. But I wanted to put the three of them away. Well, I needed to take a picture,
Yes. I understand completely.
For the thumbnail. And so I'm going to show you guys. Me and Amy, we the other day in the rain, we went to this place called So Yeah Quilting. Because
So yeah, expensive.
So yeah, expensive. But probably to pay for these bags.
Well, it's only canvas. It's not even canvas. It's that canvas wannabe stuff.
That faux canvas.
Yeah. I mean, it's nicer than most bags you get, but it's not all that in a bag of chips.
I know. But so we were there, and the reason we were there was because I was looking. I am on the hunt for a very specific fabric. I really, 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 really want to do give me this, Mary Poppins. But what's always stopped me from doing it is I can't find the right cover for the book.
Okay.
So we went to the fabric store to see if we could find it, and we didn't. But what we did find was this.
I was like, I don't remember us finding that. We argued about it.
Off with their heads, curious or
Right.
We're all mad here.
So she found somebody to help with Alice in Wonderland.
So it's Alice in Wonderland. It's a holiday print for Halloween.
It does say Halloween on there, but you know what? Beggars
You know
can't
what?
be choosers.
I can't find it.
It was cheapy.
But
And
we
you can
found
probably
it.
Oh, I did it. I took it apart.
Here it is. I found it. It's right there. It's in the middle, so if I stay away from the middle, I'm okay.
Yeah, I think you can probably work around that to get a nice, doodah.
Anyway, so we found that for the outside, and we found this for the inside.
I was there. I witnessed the whole thing. I confess.
So yeah, I found some Alice in Wonderland fabric. It was amazing. There was actually a couple of different kinds, but this is the one we saw and we fell in love with.
Yeah, they did. Some of it was a little boring and plain,
Yeah.
Then they had an awesome pack of quilting fabric to make a Frankie lap gown, but it was $60.
If it had been less than $60, I'd have bought it for her, but $60 is a little heavy for.
It was so awesome, though. Oh my god!
But I'm gonna.
But apparently, they don't put things that are out of season on sale. So that's their own fault, really. That's what I'm going with.
So I'm going to put this in a project bag so I don't lose it.
Adria's asking, what is the red? I don't remember anything. Oh, that you need to show that up closer. It's hard to see what that is from the second fabric. You need to hold it up closer to the camera. It's roses on like a tan background. So something for the inside cover that's not real distracting. I can't get in my glue. I heard you get a sale too. Her shop is on fire. That's what I'm talking about.
I can't believe I lost it.
I can't believe you lost it either. You just showed it to me.
I know. It's got to be here someplace.
It's probably under something because it's not that,
Yeah, it's not a very big thing.
I'm trying to be good.
Are you being good?
Not really. I'm making a mess.
Okay. Do you need help?
Probably, but I'm good.
You sure? Because I know this lady with a pair of pliers.
I'm holding a pair of pliers and squeezing a glue tube at the same time.
That can only end in disaster. I'm on my way.
I made it work. I got it. Look, I squeezed it with the top pliers and I got glue. And I'm going to put it over here.
Okay.
This is one of those super ugly earrings, but don't you think it's awesome, right? She just went away. Oh, now I'm going to need more glue. She's wandered off.
All right. We have 2 new ones for tonight.
2 new ones what?
We have baked wheat.
Oh, snacks to try.
And this one's just a plain one. And then there's this one, which is a red bean paste.
He eats a lot of stuff with red bean paste in it.
So we're going to give one of those a try by the end of this experience.
I need something for up there. Trying to have fun with my jewelry. Ooh. Hey, guess what?
You got an alarm?
It's 5:45. I
All
don't
right,
know why.
let me say hello to some people. Hello, Carla.
Carla!
Then I got to go to the top. Hi, Andrea. Hello, Miss Mari.
That's
Christine, hi. Hello, Sherry.
Oh,
Miss Janice, hi.
I threw jewelry on the Janet.
Janice.
Oh, Janice. Hi, Janice. The bread cake? Yeah.
And she's in there saying, I think I'm turning Japanese. I think I'm turning Japanese. I really think so.
Well, you know.
That's going to bug me.
What? Oh, the thing that's missing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Is it, though?
Yeah, it is.
A lot?
A lot.
Where did my... Then I have
You know
some.
what's going to happen is 6 months from now, I'm going to.
After you have 87 of them.
There it is. Yeah, after I have 87 of them. Oh.
Then we'll all be in a cluster somewhere because Harry
Stole them. All right. So Amy and I had to go to the craft store today because I had to get some seed beads for a project. And we had to go to the post office because I had to mail a bunch of stuff. So we went and we did all of that.
It was
And
a bunch
then-
of stuff too.
And then
And
we went by the thrift store because I had to get rid of Amy's chair that was here in the media room. It's Harry's chair, but we had to get rid of it.
it's my chair. Harry and I have an ongoing argument.
And we had to get rid of it because it was done. Like the screws that hold up the back had fallen out. And
It was the crunch chair.
Yeah.
To get out of it, you had to do some stomach crunches.
yeah, it was exercising, but it was done.
Painful. It was painful.
So we stopped at the thrift store today to see if they had any office chairs. And of course they didn't until we were leaving, and then we saw one. But it was Monday, and that's half off day. So after we'd waited in line already for like 20 minutes, well, Amy had waited in line because I don't wait in line. I shop, and I found her a beautiful shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's true.
and a cute little purse.
That's also true.
But I had found some punches, but I didn't get them because they're those, the ones where you put the bottom and then you put the paper on it and then you punch through the top. So they're like real big. And there were Martha Stewart, but I just couldn't see anybody wanting them. So I was like, no, I don't want these. So I left those, but I found this. And when I first saw it, I thought there was something wrong with it because this edge is all kind of messed up. And there's nothing wrong with this piece.
Nothing wrong with it.
Let me grab a piece of scrap paper real quick.
And then along came Jones. Janice says she read a competitor's newspaper and found out a reuse store for craft stuffs is opened uptown. The weather is better and I have a free day. ... Janice, you'll have to let us know if it was any good. That sounds very exciting. Okay, so I added a couple of things to this page now that we have some jewelry. I have some other jewelry that was sent to me, I think by Rebecca, and I cannot find it since the move. I think it's in a safe place. It's in a safe place. Okay, and this is the one we finished last time. I was just waiting for it to dry. Waiting for it to dry. So that one's all done. I still feel like it needs a little something on the front, but let's tuck it into its pocket and see if we can, now that I've added all this stuff to it, see if we can actually get it in the pocket.
Hello, Steffi.
Hi, Steffi G.
So we were up at the front of the store and I showed this to Amy and she was like, well, does it work? And I said, yeah, probably. So I had some notebook paper that we were buying. So I just ripped it off and I grabbed a piece and I cut it. And are you guys ready for this? I don't even know if you guys can see that. Hold on. Let me get a piece of white paper so you guys can see this. Because Amy and I were very happy. So it cuts a decal edge. Neither me nor Amy has ever seen one of these types of guillotines that does that.
Oh boy.
Okay, now I'm convinced my desk is just eating things.
Well, you're probably not wrong.
Ugh. So Amy and I are now the proud owners of a decal edge paper trimmer. We can decal everything.
Mari says she's never seen one before. Carla said, ooh, decal.
I know. How cool is this?
Christine said, nice.
How cool is that?
I thought TH. What's TH?
Thought Tim Holtz sold one.
Oh. I don't think that's a Tim Holtzy project. It's got a product. It's got some weight to it.
Yeah, it's heavy. And it's from Hama. But it's pretty substantial. The only thing I don't like about it is that there's no lines on it and the ruler's at the bottom. So you kind of have to, I guess this would be one of those things that I would use my square for, you know?
Yeah, probably.
Because the numbers are raised. So I could use my square with it. You just in there tearing things up, aren't you?
What?
You just in there tearing stuff up, huh?
Well, that's kind of how you make things. You destroy something else to make something else.
Okay.
Timmy.
Timmy?
That's what Carla said.
Timmy.
Timmy.
Is Timmy down the well again?
You just leave him there. At least that way you'll know where he is, and you can lower food down to him, and he'll quit falling in there.
Well, at least we'd know, you know.
Carlos, let's get a fine line paint pen and grit it out.
I know, right?
My English has suffered, lol. Not that bottom part there.
That's really bothering me that I can't find it. I took a picture of it right here just before you started filming the video.
Is that the galling part? Is that you took a picture of it right there?
Yeah.
And it's like, ah, ha, 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 F you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
Ha! I found it.
Did you now? Where was
You're
it?
150% right.
Carla, we're all going to hell. Timmy puts the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again.
Yeah, right.
The crafty police are going to come get us.
Ha! You're absolutely right. Harry took it.
Mm-hmm. Seemed like the kind of thing that he would go, oh my God, what is that? I gotta have it.
I had to play with that.
I think he has a secret bling fetish.
I'm telling you, when we're sleeping at night, he's dancing around in the living room with a boa on and glitter.
Singing biscuits and gravy.
Yep. Well, you know, now there's your song.
What's my song?
Biscuits and
Biscuits and
gravy.
no gravy.
Whoa, 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 biscuits and gravy. And the gravy is not yours.
You are such a nice lady.
No, we never did get an office chair.
We saw one, but we weren't willing to go back in and wait through the line.
We wouldn't have had to be honest. We could have just gone in and got the manager and said, hey, how much for the chair? And she could have told us whatever price she wanted to sell it to us for, which is usually next to nothing. And then it was 50% off of next to nothing.
We
And
were
she
both
would
kind of done.
she would have just rang it up for us.
Yeah, but did you want to go back in there?
Hell no.
You look like you were ready to murder somebody.
I was.
And it was probably going to be me because I was close.
No.
Are you taking your Don't Kill Amy pills?
Yes.
I don't like the way you said that.
I take them every night.
Just my check.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing this. This is what spoke to me today.
Well, then do it.
I was sorting through some stuff before the live, you know. And I was like, this is going to work. What?
Adria's laughing. The Don't Kill Amy pills.
Well, they're working, aren't they? I'm still alive. For now.
I haven't killed her yet.
I love how the cheerful yet at the end of that. Not yet. It's still living. We'll see about next week, though.
I'm still trying to figure out which one of us is more deranged.
Me, because I put up with you.
You know, the one of us that's an admitted lunatic or the one that got in the car with a stranger.
They cost 95 cents a month, Adria. And I will gladly fork that over every time. 1 month she couldn't get into her purse, and I'm like, here, just take my credit card. This is for my own safety. I can afford 95 cents. Maybe. Well, it might be, you know, if I hide them from you, is that assisted suicide?
Yes.
Carla said she got an office chair for free when she left the old 4-letter word. Well, at least she got something out of it.
Yeah, right?
This is looking very vintagey. I don't know what happened to me. I need some ink. I'm going to ink this shit up, this stuff up.
Adria, for just 95 cents a month, you too can save Amy.
Right? We're going to have a fundraiser for the rest of the year. What do we need? It's February. That's 10 months left. We need $9.50. Please donate to the cause.
So I got this at Daiso. And I thought it was the perfect, you know, like set of colors for the Alice in Wonderland. Since we're doing the muted colors. Amy says I have a problem.
You do have Potter's clay. I'm using that. Oh, a thing happened. Sorry. I love these little memento teardrops. Now I can stop drooling over them in the craft store.
She does.
I do. They never put these on sale. These are never on sale. Never.
Nope. Not never.
Never. Nope, I'm still working on it, Adria. Things happened, you know, life. Well, this is not helping make it not look vintage cause.
Have you gotten on the vintage train?
I was using this, what is this called? Potter's clay. It's different.
Whoa, lady.
I want you to stop singing that song because there's still no freaking gravy.
Biscuits and gravy.
I need it.
Shopping tomorrow.
You say that every day. Next it'll be Saturday. Grocery store's your least favorite place.
Oh, by the way, Adria says that she'll do Zelle or Venmo because that way you don't have to pay the fees.
Okay. Do you want an itemized invoice, Adria, or do you just want your total? What did I do with the book? I won't tell it to you live on the air. I won't put you out like that.
I will. Not enough.
Happy birthday, Steffi.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
You don't care. Okay. I will message you the total.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Let me go grab my book though.
I need to make journal cards. Y'all don't mind if I work on this a little bit, right? No.
Oh, wait, I don't have the shipping yet. I'll do it after the live. I'll do yours first. I have the total, but not the shipping. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
To you.
That's nicer than the version I usually do, so be happy.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. If you're old and you know it.
Fart some more.
What did he say?
Fart some more.
Oh my God, I crop dusted the people in line behind me today.
Oh, did you?
Well, that guy was standing practically on my butt.
Yeah, well, they probably deserved it then.
His wife got there. Back off like half a foot. Jesus. Standing on top of me is not going to get you.
To the register faster?
No, it's not. It's actually going to get you there slower. And I'm going to start jabbing you with my elbow.
Ooh.
It's the woman version of man spreading. You stand sideways and put your elbows out like Wonder Woman.
I am not into the Dr. Pepper. I'll have you guys know I've lost another 2 pounds,
I have not lost anything.
which means I am now down 33.
I don't like her anymore.
You love me.
No. Nopey nope.
You do so.
I don't. You lose more weight than me.
Ooh, guess what happened yesterday?
Things.
Yes. Hey, Amy,
Mm-hmm.
how come you don't have us in the big screen?
I don't know. How do we get in the big screen?
Look at the bottom of the black screen. There you go.
Oh, well, that's exciting. Because that's what came up automatically when I put you in.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hi, Roseanne.
I'm using this Waffle House thing. I don't care.
Waffle House?
Waffle House.
Okay, Waffle House. Waffle House it is.
I need a Waffle House menu. I wonder if they have one online. So what did you were going to say something about yesterday?
I don't know.
Oh my God. Now I'm using one called Sweet Plum. Okay, now where's the rest of my junk?
Sweet Plum?
Sweet Plum. as opposed to, you know, old disgusting plum
Okay.
or prunes.
Prunes. Close enough for hand grenades and horseshoes, I think.
Is it though? Do you think Colorado has Waffle House?
I don't know. Hole punchy thingy.
Smothered, covered, chucked, and capped. Loaded hash browns. Hey, Roseanne, how you doing?
You know what?
What?
I got to round the corners.
Uh-oh. You're fired.
I know. Kind of a barbarian doesn't round the corners.
You. It's you.
Do 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 do, inky dinky doo, inky dinky doo.
Really?
Shush! It's the song of my people. Inky dinky doo, do 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 do, inky dinky doo. When we're in a really feisty mood, it's gluey, gluey, glue.
That's my theme song.
I know.
Sometimes it has a refrain about having glued myself to something.
Chuck Norris perspiration.
Chuck Norris. Ew.
Gross. Okay.
Chunked. It's chunked, she says. Not chucked. It was a little scary there for a second. All right. We're going to make it work with all of these things.
Are we?
So saith me. But
Okay.
it's my page. It's my serial killerness.
It is.
I'm going to murder these 3 ladies that I followed from a Waffle House.
Can't you just kill them in the Waffle House? There's less mess for us to clean up that way.
Nobody's cleaning up any mess. It's serial killer trying not to leave behind any evidence.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
If I kill them in the Waffle House, I'm no longer a serial killer. I'm some kind of freak spree killer.
I've heard that you're a freak.
Well, maybe.
Possible.
The other day when you said you were using your blue underpants. Yeah, we call it when you have the wrench and your name is in blue. Is Carla no longer a moderator? Carla, what happened? Where's your blue panties?
I don't think they show up blue if you're in the StreamYard.
Oh, yeah. So, when the name is in blue, when you are a moderator, we say you're wearing the blue panties.
One of these days, we're going to have the Blue Panty Awards.
You know who's going to get it. Going to be Arlene. Carla is a superb moderator, but Arlene is the queen of all moderators.
Yeah.
She's the bestest of the best. When she's everywhere, she does all. I don't know how she does it all. She's up in the middle of the night with British ladies. She's up early in the morning. She does, you know. I'd go insane if I had to do. And she does it well. You
Yeah.
know. I'm not a bad moderator, but I don't enjoy it, you know.
And on top of all of the lives she moderates groups too.
Yeah. All that, and she makes creepy, awesome dolls.
Yes, she does.
We have our Carla, who is beyond awesome. We loves our Carla.
I loves my Carla.
You can't beat a Carla on a Murder Monday.
Oop.
Or a Friday.
I know. Or any yay, really.
Yeah, there's that. Plus, if you get on her bad side, you know, it's a little scary. She'll keep you on your toes.
She'll send murder mittens after you.
Damn straight. Besides, she's coined so many of our phrases. What would we do without her? You get the rollatini, murder mittens. The Amy.
The Amy. Her Majesty Queen Amy.
Her Highness.
Her Highness.
Arlene is everywhere. I would go crazy if I did her job. She's, you know, she is a better quality human being than me. I live with Els and I won't moderate one of her sales. Because I don't like it.
She'll do it in a pinch.
I have to be bribed with food or tea
Yeah.
or art supplies or some of the above. I'm just inking everything. Today is all about this plum color.
Are you in love with the plum?
Mm-hmm. What's everybody else's favorite color of ink? I'm partial to Potter Soil, but right now that purple's. Special. So by Distress Ink, Steffi's hot plum crazy. It's called sweet plum, but we'll call it plum crazy. Steffi says hot pink. I have a hot pink. I use it in Scraps of Joy. I like it. And that orange color. I don't know what its name is, but it's cool. Okay. Waffle House.
Hey, Francis!
Francis! I've used soot before, Carla. It's a good black. It's a very good black.
Which one?
Soot.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually out of it right now.
Mine is running very low.
It's so sad.
Now it gives me like this. I have to really rub at it, you know. Time to buy a new one, but I just can't bring myself to do it. Because it's also getting that dry rot kind of stuff going on. I've had it so long.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm going this way. I'm going to look and see if I can find like a sample of their menu online before I nail this down. There's one side. There's the other side. I'm going to need some doodahs and some name tags and stuff coming up. But entertain the ladies for a minute. I got to look for a Waffle House menu online.
Oh, okay. Plum Crazy was a Dodge Charger color back in the 70s. The line was called Sublime, and the construction orange is Hugger Orange.
Ooh. I made it Waffle House.
Amy, baby, sometimes you scare me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, as soon as she's back,
I'm here. I just can't see anything.
I know, but as soon as she's back, I'm going to go ahead and pop out. And then when I come back, we're going to talk about this week's serial killer. And she's right. I do have a personal connection to this one.
Oh, there we go.
I'm trying really hard not to make this one gator.
Are you?
Yeah, so far I'm doing pretty good.
Are you, though?
I'm 5 pages in.
That's not.
1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of paper in, and it's flat as can be.
4 pages in. All of them are flat as can be.
Shush.
Nice try, lady. Chunked is when they add ham. Oh.
Ham.
Elf likes ham.
I like ham.
I like potato.
And on Valentine's Day, they're going to make your hash browns heart-shaped.
Can I pay extra and have them not heart-shaped?
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. Honey, you don't love potato. You are a potato. I think you're made of about 75% potato.
That makes me a cannibal.
Spud.
I'm a spuddable.
You're spuddable.
All right, I'm here. I found it. I just have to get it printed.
Okay. All right. All right, so take me off the screen because I'm going to go out with Hubbard for a minute. And when I come back, we're all going to learn about this week's serial killer.
Are we?
Yeah. Adria says you're starchy. And
Yeah.
Carla wants to know if they can make it butt-shaped.
Oh, dear. Butt shape.
You know what? You know what?
What?
I think you, me, and Mike need to wake up in the morning.
Why? So morning.
I was just thinking Blueberry Hill.
Is Mike going to get up?
For Blueberry Hill? Yeah, he'll drag his ass out the bed.
I don't know.
Well, you know what? If he doesn't, you and I can go.
Teacher's like, call and find out if they'll make it butt shaped. All right, you're off the screen, woman.
I'll be back.
Stop threatening us. That's what the page looks like so far. What do you think? Da, 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 da. I need to hold, please. Save image as. Come on. Oh, now I need my other keyboard. I ain't got no H. Okay, save. Hey Jen, how you doing? If I missed you coming in. All right. We're about to murder some Waffle House people. Waffle House was in their favor, you know, because I like Waffle House. I like the Waffle House. I need to open a file. Oh, I don't know where I put that at. Could have put it in. There it is. So yeah. And then here we have, this is like a mummified arm. We got some flowers. Some things are happening here. Hold, please. I'm pulling up that picture. So, what did everybody have for din-dins? I have not had any din-dins yet. Okay. Copy. Go away. Paste. Yay. I did it. Hold, please. I'm going to make it just a wee bit bigger, and then I'm going to print this. I'm going to print something. File. Print. I just want one copy. I want page 2. Print. Haha. Leftover couscous salad with rotisserie chicken. Nice. Kitty Jen had hamburgers, fried chicken steak, chicken fried steak, potatoes and gravy. Yum, Francis. Christine burger. Oh, I love a good Whopper. Chili and cheese and Fritos. Ooh, nice, Roseanne. That's a good combo. I love Fritos in my chili. Karashi Dawn. Did they eat a bad batch? Yeah, they got the brown waffles. Red rum, red rum. Oh, I'm sorry to hear your back's bothering you, Kitty Jen. That sucks. No, she went out to smoke with Mike and, you know, to talk about Mike and Elle's things, because that's what they do. And she'll be back in a minute, and that's when she's going to start the... Did I tell you guys about Frozen Ground, the movie I watched? Because I watched it a second time. Did I tell you guys about it? He's about a serial killer. Ooh, garlic toast. Spaghetti with meatballs. I love Texas toast. Okay, so I watched this movie. It's called Frozen Ground. It has Nick Cage, John Cusack, and who played the... Hold on, I've got it up on the screen here. Here we go. was it? Had Dean Norris in it, and I like him as an actor. 50 Cent was in it. So Nick Cage is the cop, and John Cusack is the serial killer. It's based on a real life case from Alaska. It was about Robert Christian Bose Hansen, and he was active from 72 to 83. It's available on regular cable. I'm not sure if it's available on any streaming services, though. I didn't look that up. If you get a chance to watch it, they don't go terribly into detail, so it's not, I mean, you know what he did, but they don't show you everything he did. It's not like a really, and he did some fairly brutal things, I gotta be honest. He was a bad one. So if you're into that sort of thing, I would recommend it. Now, I don't like Nick Cage and everything he's ever made, but I think he did okay in this movie. And, I always think of John Cusack from from 80s romance movies. So it was good to see him doing something a little different. I really like him as an actor. I do. Let me go see if that printed up. I'll be right back, ladies. I'm going to get me a Waffle House menu. Got it. Woohoo! Who likes Waffle House? I don't know what I'm going to eat for dinner tonight. I had a big old salad last night. Rebecca, how you doing? Here's the Waffle House menu. I printed it up small. Oops. I'm tearing some of the edges off. Okay. So what part do we want to use? I think I want the hash browns part now that we talked about hash browns.
I'm back.
Oh, no, it's back.
And you know what?
What?
Hubber's going to make us scrambled eggs and ham.
I knew that was going to happen if you said Blueberry Hill.
And tomorrow morning, he's going to get up and go to Blueberry Hill.
Why is he going to Blueberry Hill if he's going to make us breakfast?
He's making us breakfast for dinner.
We're going to breakfast twice? Shut the front door.
Yeah. Hey, Krabby. Hi, honey. Rebecca's in the house.
Rebecca.
All right. Let's talk about today's serial killer.
I told him about one in Alaska. I recommended a movie.
Awesome.
Rebecca's saying hi to everybody.
Hello, Jen.
So, are you going to unburden us of the glorious knowledge of what today's serial killer is? Ooh.
Well, first I'm going to tell you the background. So, when I moved to California, which was in 1977, my mom, my brother, and I all moved to California. And we were here about 6 to 8 months before we got our own place. We were staying with her friend's brother. And we finally got our own place. And there was a girl who lived, like, it was one of those, like, apartment.
Oh, nice,
apartments.
Janice.
And the girl, we lived upstairs and the girl lived directly across from us. So they had to come up our stairs to get to their apartment because the stairs only went up one way. And after I'd lived there for like, I don't know. Oh, hash browns.
Right?
Hold on, I got to talk to Hubbard.
Wait.
Mommy, can you have frozen hash brown patties? Can you put those in too? Thank you.
So he's going to go to Blueberry. Does he know he's going to Blueberry Hill?
Yeah.
And he's making us breakfast? Because usually he suggests that instead of Blueberry Hill.
No. He's making us breakfast for dinner.
I know, but he still does the thing, you know?
No, he said we're going. By the way, could you put me back on the screen? They want to see me.
No, I don't want any of them to see you.
Okay.
Me, all me.
Okay. Food first, murder later.
Oh, and the reason I didn't tell you guys that much about the serial killer in Alaska is because I don't want to ruin the movie for you. If you want to go watch Frozen Ground, I don't want to totally spoil it for you.
Yeah. Okay. So she had to come up the stairs to go to her apartment. And I didn't even know there was a little girl living there. Because I didn't see her for a long time. Because when we moved into our apartment, it was like the end of the summer vacation. And then we started school. And when we started school, the bus dropped us off down at the end of the street. And the first day of school, she got off the same bus stop. And her grandmother was waiting for her and walked her home. And I was following behind them, and come to find out they actually lived right there next door to me. So I went over and knocked on the door and asked if she could come out and play. And her grandmother was like, well, yeah, she can come out and play, but she can't leave the building, between the two buildings. Okay. So her and I became pretty good friends, and we spent the better part of the next like 3 years. We finished elementary school together. We went to junior high school together, but she never walked to school. Her mom always drove her, and she would show up at school. And I asked her one time, I was like, why does your mom drive you? You can't walk in with the rest of us. And she was like, well, no, my mom just really doesn't like me to be out. Well, I had found out why. Because like her grandmother would walk her to the bus every day and pick her up every day. And it was like 50 feet from the bus stop to the house. And I was like, yeah, I kind of understood it in elementary school. But then when we started junior high, it was like, why? And I went to one of those schools where kindergarten through fourth was in one building. And then fifth was at a different school in a different building from the junior high. And then the junior high school you went to in 6th, 7th, and 8th. So, because it was just the way that Harry, get your tail away from the candle, buddy.
He likes living dangerously.
I know. So I met her, obviously I met her grandmother. Eventually I met her mom, and I met her brother. The mom was just really overprotective. And the reason she was overprotective is because she had lost a child when that child was young. She had her firstborn was a little girl, and that little girl got hit by a car. And then it was like 10 years later that she had her son. And then about 5 years after that, she had her daughter.
I'm going to mute myself for a second.
Okay. So I had met her brother. He was a nice guy. He was a little bit older than my brother, but he'd work on his bike. He had a motorcycle he was building, and my brother would go hang out in the garage with him. And when he was working on his bike, his sister was allowed to play in the back. There was like a little playground area between the garages where they had like a slide and some swings. And she was allowed to play there when her brother was in the garage. because that way her mom felt like her brother could keep an eye on her. So, and then her brother started going to Golden West College, and he was taking a couple of classes there a week, and we saw a little less of him, but you know. And then he transferred, and he went to a school in where they used to live in Garden Grove, and his name was Larry. And he was born when mom was still married, but by time his sister was born, mom and dad had gotten divorced, and the sister went by his mom's maiden name, which was, I'm not going to tell you, but so the sister had a different last name than the brother. Because in California at the time, unless the father signed, you couldn't put his name on the birth certificate if you weren't married. So her last name was her mom's last name, and his last name was his dad's last name. Okay. So, and that's important because we didn't make the connection about what happened until quite a bit later. So, our serial killer for today is William Bonin. And William Bonin is more commonly known as, anybody know? Anybody know? I do. All right. So William Bonin is more commonly known as the Freeway Strangler. Serial killer, paroled sex offender as always.
He's a paroled sex offender? I missed part of it. Sorry.
Yes, he was a paroled sex offender. Twice paroled sex offender.
Oh.
And between May of 1979 and June of 1980, he killed at least 21 men and young boys. So his MO was he would abduct somebody, and he would hold on to him for a day or two. In the interim, the police usually would find their stuff. They would be listed as a missing person, and maybe they would find their stuff, maybe they wouldn't. And then their bodies would turn up miles away from where they were abducted or last known to be, usually on a freeway off-ramp or an on-ramp. Okay? So he had known accomplices. Like, he was not a solo, which is a little different. He had accomplices, but he not just one. He had 4 that they knew of.
Like men, women? Who were these people?
Men. These were men.
So this was kind of like a ring sort of deal.
Well, it was him, and he would get like one, and that would like. The thing with Bonin was he didn't want to admit that he was gay. So he would be in, like, he would pick up a young person, a young guy, and he would be in a relationship with that person, and he would get that person to help him kill somebody else. And he had 4 of these. All right. So he was actually convicted of 14 murders of the 21 that they say is the minimum he killed. But 14 they could directly pin on him. Okay.
What was the age range on his victims?
They were, age range would probably have been teenagers, so 16 to like mid-20s.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was on death row for 14 years, and he was the first person in California history to die by lethal injection. Because prior to him, they did it in the electric chair. So he was the guinea pig for lethal injection in the state of California.
Oh.
So, little history. He was born in Connecticut in 1947.
Okay.
He was a middle child. Parents were alcoholics. Dad was a World War II vet that had a chip on his shoulder. The mom had really bad mood swings. And she would go play bingo while her kids would stay home alone.
So she's not winning any Mom of the Year awards.
Right.
This
Dad
gave
was
him.
also- yeah.
This probably gave him the freedom to, become what he was. Honestly.
Yeah, probably. Dad was also a compulsive gambler. And he was such a compulsive gambler that they lost their house.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Now, they were raised Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
They went to a Catholic school. And it was noted that he had some aggression issues.
Right.
He took his bicycle and plowed into a crowd of girls. And so he ended up in juvenile hall. They went to a Catholic, him and his older brother went to a Catholic convent. Sorry. Harsh discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Extreme assaults.
Jesus.
However, he functioned very well in that environment.
Routine.
Yep. He was bullied.
For being gay or for being different or?
No, just because he was just small
Okay.
and awkward. Then he was kind of taken under the wing of an older boy.
Uh-huh.
And that boy, according to him, sexually assaulted him.
Hmm.
He did discuss the fact that when he was a preteen and teenager, he felt disgusted with himself because he was attracted to younger boys and his male teachers. He got ridiculed in school. A lot of it had to do with the fact that, his parents just didn't give a shit.
Right. So he's probably dirty and
He was
unkempt. And
dirty, unkempt. Mom was always at bingo. Dad was in the casino. He had it okay when they were living with the grandmother, but at one point, after they came back from the convent school, they actually moved into a house that was owned by the maternal grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
So the grandparents weren't on site to take care of them. So they'd go without food, and neighbors, people that had lived next to them and knew the story, they said, we had there were times that we fed them. There was times that we gave them like hand-me-down clothes or bought them new clothes, because him and his one brother, the older brother, didn't really have, you know, a lot of affection from the parents.
Right.
The baby brother, on the other hand, was like favored by the grandparents, favored by the parents.
So probably some resentment there.
Right.
So they were left to their own devices. They were, if not explicitly abused, they were at least neglected.
Right. But they were specifically abused. So until he went to prison for the first time as an adult, they were left with the maternal grandfather.
Yeah.
By the mom. That's, you know, she chose to leave them there. And he was a known child molester who had molested her. So she knew that he was a child molester.
Jesus, good parenting, good parenting. What the fuck is wrong with people?
And then when, you know, she wasn't leaving them with her Chester father, she would leave them with their father, who hated them and abused them constantly.
Did he not want kids, or what was the deal there?
He just, I don't know. I don't know what his psychological thing was. He probably shell shock.
Oh.
From World War II. He probably had some kind of, you know, psychological
noisy children, probably not conducive to his mental state.
Right, right.
Okay. So he didn't hate them because they weren't his or anything like that. Just he just didn't want kids around.
Right.
He gave no fucks.
So he as a kid, he spent a lot of time in and out of juvenile hall, usually for stupid stuff like stealing hubcaps and license plates off cars and things like that. Okay. But while he was there, he claims he was abused by an adult counselor. When he got home, he was fondling his younger brother. And then after about 6 to 8 months of that, the younger brother spoke up and said something. So he had to sleep in a separate room. And, you know, he later admitted in interviews, you know, that he had molested several younger boys. He had exposed himself to girls, and that he had an incestuous relationship with a female cousin.
Jesus.
So
sounds like an awesome family.
Yeah. So basically, you know, the family's just screwed, glued, and tattooed. So moving forward, he was good at school, specifically in maths and sciences.
So he could have done something with that.
Could have done something with that, but he just didn't care.
Well, he wasn't taught to value education, and it was probably the only thing that, you know, a place where he wasn't really abused other than being bullied, you know?
Yeah. So in 1962, they moved to California. And he went to high school in Torrance, where people said he was a social outcast. He just didn't fit in.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, as far as anybody knew, and this is from his brother, he didn't have any friends.
None?
None. He would just go and hang out in the bowling alley all day.
But not with anybody, not talking to anybody, just hanging around?
Yeah. He would just go in and sit and watch people bowl or watch them drink. And you're going to remember back then, we're talking, you know, in the like early to mid 60s, the bowling alley was a hip place to be.
Right.
You know, so he would go and just hang out there. He didn't hang out with any group of kids or anything. He didn't play. He just sat there and watched, which I'm sure just really added to the, you know.
Well, too much social isolation.
Yeah.
Can make you if you already didn't have much empathy, it can quash that. You know, based on his upbringing, he probably never had much empathy to begin with.
Yep.
But hanging out by yourself and watching other people live, that's resentment, and you lose your empathy, and you know.
Yep. So by the time he was a teenager, he
And I'm
had
not saying that makes him being a serial killer okay, but I understand the development.
right. So by the time he's a teenager, he has an almost schizophrenic interest in pedophilia.
Oh boy.
But he keeps it a secret. But this becomes a problem between him and his mother, who is now his only parent. And they're fighting constantly. And his mom is like, get a girlfriend. So he dates a girl to make his mother shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Drops out of high school in 1966 and begins molesting neighborhood children. His mom just ignores it. She refuses to acknowledge it. By this point, mom is a recovering, now I've gone far the other way. Instead of drinking and gambling, now I am Bible thumping. I have found God. So now she's praying for him.
Right.
Which really just kind of ticks him off. But finally, mom's had enough. She kicks him out of the house. He joins the Air Force.
Oh, goody. Well, you said he was good at math and stuff, right?
Yeah. So this girl that he had dated, he actually gets engaged to her.
Okay.
Because mom thinks that it's going to stop his gay attraction to pubescent boys. So she's got to pray the gay away.
Well, that always works out well.
So he got his GED in the military.
Okay.
He was a cook.
Mm-hmm.
He was arrested in 1967, but since he was scheduled to be leaving like within a matter of days to Vietnam, they dropped the charges.
Okay.
He was an aerial gunner on a helicopter.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Over 700 hours of combat time. So, decorated war.
I'm listening.
He said that his military experiences instilled misanthropic beliefs within him.
Mm-hmm.
But he is known to have risked his life on at least one occasion to save another airman. He received a medal in recognition of his gallantry, among other medals.
Mm-hmm.
He engaged in alleged consensual relations with 4 young girls and had a number of homosexual encounters in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
A prostitute in Hong Kong, female.
Mm-hmm.
But he also said that he sexually assaulted 2 soldiers under his command at gunpoint around the time of the Tet Offensive. Served 3 years before being honorably discharged at 21. He gets back and finds out that Linda's had his son. But she left him to marry somebody else.
Oh.
So went to work as a gas station attendant back in Downey and was living with his parents. And he resented them.
Mm-hmm.
So, he still had conflict there. So So in 1968, he picked up a 14-year-old boy in Arcadia while driving his mom's station wagon. He handcuffed this kid and proceeded to rape him, then knocked him unconscious, and then deposited him on a park bench. And as soon as he got home, his mom found out what happened and reported him to the police.
How did she find out what happened? Did he tell her?
Probably.
Well, I don't get why you would do that.
Probably because she was extremely domineering and controlling. And when he got home, she was like, "Why were you late?"
Yeah, I guess.
Then in November of 1968, November 26th of 1968, so like 10 days later, he picks up another 17-year-old hitchhiker. He asks him about homosexuality, brings out a handgun, secluded area, rapes him, threatening him, telling him, somebody will come get you if you get me in trouble, and beat him with a tire iron.
Jesus.
In December of the same year, so about 2 weeks later, it was reported to the Torrance Police Department by a 17-year-old kid that a man with a medium-length, dark hair, olive complexion, had offered him a ride, and then handcuffing him, who was, and then assaulted him in the vehicle. And 5 weeks later, he had a 12-year-old in Hermosa Beach. He forced this kid to perform oral, molesting him, robbed him, and then threatened to kill him if he ever reported it. Then there was another one just a few weeks later. So you see how this is going?
Right.
So he keeps doing this, okay? So at this point, by the end of January 1969, the police are now looking to locate a potential serial rapist.
Right.
Sorry, Mike's out here stirring stuff.
It's not that loud. It's okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Nothing.
It's fine.
So
Wait till the sizzle starts.
Sizzle.
So on January 28th at 2:30 in the morning, an El Segundo policewoman confronts him because he had frightened the 16-year-old runaway that was in his mom's vehicle. Noting his frantic state, similar profile to the rapist, she searches him, retrieves his handcuffs, and Bonin repeatedly advises her to incarcerate him before sobbing and insisting he was not responsible for his actions. So, indicted on 5 counts kidnapping, 4 counts of sodomy, 1 count of oral copulation, 1 count of child molestation against the 5 individuals he abducted and assaulted. In the case of the final youth he had abducted, attempted to assault, since, that one he didn't get. Bludgeoning, choking one victim, squeezing the low-hanging fruits of 2 of his victims.
Oh my.
In March of 1969, they decided that he had undergone some psychiatric examinations, and they determined he was a sexual psychopath. He had little or no control over his impulses and showed signs of depression and inappropriate emotional response. Initially, he said that he had no childhood abuse, but eventually he kind of said, you know, yeah, I've been touched and I was molested a few times. So he's seriously lacking insight, responsibility for crimes committed since his childhood. He pled guilty to molestation, forced oral, and was sentenced to a state hospital as a mentally disordered sex offender, considered amendable to treatment. So his first conviction, they send him to a hospital saying treatment will help this man. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He had a higher than average IQ, 121. Now that's something else that's kind of common with serial killers. A huge percentage of them have higher than average IQs. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they just think they're smarter than everybody else or what it is, but I can probably, like right off the top of my head, Kemp, Bundy.
Yeah, there's probably 7 or 8 that have an above average IQ.
He didn't actually kill anybody, but Manson.
Yeah, but you know, he might not have been convicted of killing anybody, but do you think he really never, ever killed anybody?
I think he probably did.
He might not have killed those people.
Yeah.
Well, let me see. Let me look it up and see if I can find out, you know, there's like a list of, oh, shoot. Don't stand on your, son of a bitch. Goes under my wheel. Ooh, I'm making all kinds of things happen. So I don't know what happened. Now there's something wrong with the computer.
He was released in 1974 because doctors said, and I quote, no longer a danger to the health and safety of others. Yeah. So, gets himself an apartment. Getting his crap together. But he's going to hang out in the gay community. But he has no social skills. So back to Downey he comes.
Okay.
He starts being a bartender, then he goes on to be a delivery driver. Like, he can't keep a job. He attended some community college, but again, only a couple of semesters. So he picked up one in Garden Grove, a 14-year-old boy. He accepted the ride. The kid accepted the ride to get a ride to his parents' home in Huntington Beach. Bonin produced a handgun and did the normal stuff.
Okay, do you wanna hear this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Rodney Alcala, known as the dating game serial killer.
Yeah.
170.
Oh.
Ted Kaczynski, who's not a serial killer. 167.
Yeah.
Charlene Gallego.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. 160.
Mm-hmm.
Carol Edward Cole, 152. Andrew Cunanan, 147.
Yeah.
These aren't serial killers, though. Edmund Kemper.
Yeah, those are serial killers.
Jeffrey Dahmer, 144.
Yeah.
What they've got on the page is they're not listing them as, I mean, it says serial killers, but what they're listing what they did as isn't a murder. Lawrence Bittaker, 138, the Toolbox Killer.
Mm-hmm.
One half of the Toolbox Killers.
Right.
Stephen Christopher Stanko,
Mm-hmm.
143.
Yep.
Ted Bundy, 136.
Mm-hmm.
John Christie, the Whispering Killer in England,
Yeah.
128.
Yeah.
That's the whole list that they had on this website, and I got to get off this website. It's doing shit to my computer.
Yeah.
It's making it freeze
So-
up and stuff.
So as you can see, a high IQ is pretty. It's a common thing with serial killers. I don't know what they do.
And
you know?
I'm sure. Let me see if I can find out what Manson's IQ is.
Here, let me look because it's easier for me.
I got it. Oh. He arrived, he was given aptitudes test, which determined he was illiterate but had an above average IQ of 109. Aggressively antisocial. You think?
Yeah,
But
a little bit.
But charismatic enough to get people to kill for him. I'm sure drugs had a part in that. You know?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. So in December of 1975, he gets sentenced to serve 1 to 15 years in San Luis Obispo. More psychiatric exams. His sexual involvement with young men is related to his mother's micromanagement of his life. In 1978, his dad has a major stroke because of his alcohol addiction. He is at the Long Beach Veterans Administration Hospital, where the mom's working as a vocational nurse. While he was in prison, he completed some mathematic courses and over 2,400 hours of vocational training as a machinist in order to have some secured employment when he gets out. So he was released in 1978. So he gets a sentence of 1 to 15 and gets paroled after just under 3 years.
Jesus.
But he gets 18 months of supervision. So, you know.
Yeah, but we all know how well parole works.
Yeah. So in
They have to find them once they break parole, you know?
Right. So he's out of jail, and he's got himself an apartment right down the street from where his parents live.
So I'm guessing they won't take him in anymore now.
Right. He meets a guy that lives there, and that guy throws these big parties, young men, drugs, and alcohol there.
Well, that's just right up his alley.
And he gets to talking to the guy, and they start, you know, talking about both of them having, a penchant for sex with young boys.
Now, are they talking pre-adolescent, or are they just talking about teenagers?
Teenagers.
Not that that makes it more acceptable, but I'm just trying to.
So about a month later, in like December of 1978, he gets into a relationship with a married mother.
Oh, let me guess, to get at her teenage son.
She had children, and he would spend time with them.
Do we know what the ages were?
Not specifically, no.
Okay. I smell breakfasty food.
I know. So early 1979, him and his brother Paul, the younger brother, they decide they're going to open a bar.
Oh, that sounds good.
But unfortunately, because of William's criminal history, they can't get a liquor license.
Mm-hmm.
So that went in the crapper. In the summer of 1979, he buys a Ford E100 short van.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, the classic perv van.
Chester the Molester.
That's the one.
Oh boy.
Is everybody still with me?
I don't know. We have 13 people watching, but I think they're all on the edge of their seats here.
So so here we go. So he usually selected young male hitchhikers, schoolboys, or occasionally a male prostitute as his victims. They were basically 12 to 19 years old, predominantly Caucasian or Latino. They were slender, pale, long-haired youths. He either enticed them with something or he forced them into the van, where he overpowers them and handcuffs, wires or cords, whatever he could get his hands on. They're assaulted, extensively beaten about the face, torso, head, and genitals, tortured before being killed by strangulation with their own T-shirts and a tire iron while letting them fade in and out of consciousness. Some victims were stabbed or battered to death. One victim, Darren Kendrick, was forced to drink chloral hydrate. 3 victims had ice picks driven into their ears, and another victim died of shock from impaling.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, in order to make sure that his victims couldn't get out of the van, he took out the interior handles.
Yeah, that was common in the 70s and early 80s when you could still do that. And just rapey guys in general, you know?
Yeah. And in order to try and, get them to not pin this on him, he would go to different counties to discard the victims' bodies far away from where he abducted them. So we're talking back in the 70s, the mid to late 70s. This is a time when, they didn't really talk to each other.
Right. There was no databases. There were no.
Right. So, you had one county that was looking for a missing person, but you'd have another county that had a murder victim.
Right. But they weren't linking those up.
Right. And so sometimes these guys would go a long, long, long time before being identified.
Right. And sometimes it was on accident.
So,
Hey, Mari. Hi, Mommy. Neener.
Just making sure y'all are in this. Okay. So, now, so he's got a van you can't get out of. He's picking up hitchhikers, runaways, gay prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then to cover it, he's, like I said, he's discarding them along the highway in different counties so that nobody's going to get together. Okay. A forensic psychologist predicted that the killer was an intelligent sex offender in his late 20s to early 30s, had spent time in a psychiatric facility, was abused as a child, and that while bisexual, the killer has never become comfortable with the homosexual side of their personality and is repulsed by their own actions, as is evidenced by the gruesome mutilation of victims. In a minimum of 12 of the murders that he considered to be a group sport, he was assisted by one or more of his 4 known accomplices. He scrapbooked newspaper articles about the murders.
So he did have a crafty side.
Yes, he was very crafty. When he would talk about the murder to other people who didn't know he was the murderer,
Yeah.
he would say things like, "This guy's giving good gays like us a bad name."
Oh, Jesus. But he had partners that knew he was the killer.
Right, but to people that he worked with and stuff, he acted all disgusted. They'd pull up another case, in the news, and he'd go, "Shit, they did it again. They found another one, another strangler victim." So, he seemed like he was just a normal guy.
Right.
So
Oh, shoot.
he's killing all these people. First killing was in 1979, in May of 1979. He was picked up in Reseda. Okay. And then he was found the same day in Agora. He had been beaten and bludgeoned, multiple fractures to his head, slashed across his throat, stabbed in the chest and stomach, strangled.
I'm looking. I'm listening.
He's found in t-shirt, shoes, and socks. His pants, his underwear, and his severed fruits are thrown in a field near the body. Okay. So. Hey, Nina.
Is Nina leaving?
No, I just said hi.
Okay.
So, August 1979, he picks up a teenage hitchhiker, offers him $400 for sexual services. He and this guy Butts, who is one of his known accomplices, abused this kid. He ends up due to some of the abuse, namely a foreign object, his body goes into shock and he dies. And they dump him. The very next day, they pick up another one. They abuse him. They beat him. This one sort of breaks loose and punches Bonin, which just ticks him off. And he just starts going at him with the knife. 77 total stab wounds. His body's found the next day.
So they're not taking any effort to hide them at all.
Nope. They're just driving up, opening the door, pushing them out, throwing their crap out and going. But this isn't a time where forensics was nothing like it is today. They, you know, their biggest thing was, oh, well, we found some trilobal fibers, which if you know anything about crime or criminology, trilobal is the kind of fibers used in car carpets.
Mm-hmm.
These are not like house carpets. Those fibers are completely different. So they know that, you know, if they find this trilobal fiber, it's
been transported in a car.
It's a car. And if they can narrow down the specific color under a spectrum of light, they can tell you what kind of car. Like, was it a Chevy, a Ford? But they can't necessarily say that it was a Ford Malibu, you know, it was a Chevy Malibu or, you know, a Ford van. It would have to be like, you know, they know it's a Ford. They know it's a Chevy. But how many Fords and Chevys are on the road in the 1970s?
A lot.
A lot. You know, they could get hair and tell you that the blood type, you know, they might be able to find the blood type. They could get hair and tell you that whether the person dyed their hair or not and what their natural hair color was, because they could look at the roots. But they didn't have the kinds of forensics they have today. They couldn't, you know, if they found, let's say, a semen stain on a pair of pants, they could tell if the person was a secretor or not a secretor. They could tell possibly, you know, their blood type, but they could never, like, they couldn't pin it in. It wasn't like it is today. So when these guys would throw these guys out, they didn't give a crap.
Right. They left behind all kinds of evidence, but
right. As a matter of fact, in that day and age, they didn't even have the trick of they didn't even know they could use super glue to lift fingerprints
yeah,
off of certain materials. At that point, you know, there were certain materials that there was no way you could recover fingerprints from those. It just wasn't possible. So I'm not going to say that forensics was in its infancy, but it wasn't great. So in August 1979, he was actually detained for molesting a 17-year-old boy. And it violated his conditions of parole. However, there was an error in the administrative paperwork,
and they
released him. So he moves forward and he starts killing people, and they're literally finding these people every couple of days. And I remember the newspapers. Like, this was big news. So, you know, he continued to do this, and several victims, lots and lots of victims. So now, you know, he's moved on. He's got another accomplice with him.
Right.
He's picked up somebody. It's consensual, no big problem. So he starts telling his partner, this kid's going to die. And the partner's like, well, why don't you just let him go? And he's like, no, because he knows us and he knows the van. So they beat him, bound him, gagged him, tossed him.
Treat him like garbage, essentially.
Yeah.
I know, right? I could jaywalk tomorrow and wind up in jail, Nina, but these guys just get away. Well, this was the 70s, too, though. It's not like... It's kind of a different... You could change your identity in the 70s just by moving out of state, just about, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, right after they get rid of this kid and they toss him out, Bonnie suggests, let's get another one. And they do.
So did any of these quote-unquote partners he was working with get caught?
Yeah, they know who they are. They've got them all. But most of them said that they did this because he forced them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So after he killed these two boys,
Right?
the next day he was arrested. But he was arrested for the violation of the parole.
Not for the boys.
Right.
Now, did they know about the boys when they were arresting him, other than the molestation one? Where obviously he had killed that guy?
Pardon, I didn't hear you.
So the one they're getting him for is the one that he molested and didn't kill.
Right. Okay.
Mommy,
Yes.
look at
Oh, hold on. I gotta go get food.
Ooh. And your English muffins waiting. There you go.
Damn it. Ginger, clean up. Somebody clean it up.
One more time.
Yeah. Ari, there's food.
All right, I'll be right there.
Got it? Take your knife with you.
What do I need a knife for?
Cutting the.
I'm gonna pick that up and eat it like a sandwich.
Right.
Okay, sorry about that. Food was hot.
Here you go. Sausage patties are here.
Okay.
Oh, you gotta get one of those. You like that split.
Fantastic.
Yes, it's breakfast for dinner.
Breakfast. It's what's for dinner.
It's scrambled eggs and ham with hash browns, pancakes, and I have an English muffin coming. And I don't eat pancakes often, so this is one of those really weird occasions.
I think she's got it already. So.
Because we're adults, so we can eat, breakfast if we want.
We can have dessert for dinner. We're adults. Here. Ow, ow, ow.
Thank you. That I need butter for.
I know you do. I'm getting there. I know.
Trying to figure out the ketchup, but okay. Taking ketchup, yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I do.
he's progressing very rapidly. And in his progressions, he is beginning to de-evolve.
Fast or anything?
Now, typically there's a cooling off period for serial killers. But when they get to the point where they're kind of at the end of it, and they all hit this point, they de-evolve and they start to speed up what they're doing. They become more prolific.
Hash browns.
Um, so he's just like one after another, one a week. You know, sometimes two in a day. He's just doing whatever he can. So, I mean, there were times where they actually found two victims in the exact same spot because he still had one dead victim in the van when he picked up the next one.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Did
So,
you say, did you tell Mike Roseanne said hi?
Everybody says hi.
Hi, everyone. Roseanne and everyone else that's there I don't know about. Do none of you really want one more scoop of eggs?
No.
Sounds like there's a portion for the dogs.
Yeah. So
She came out and got food. She's always there for the food.
I know. So he's gotten to the point where he's like, I'm gonna kill this kid this morning, and then I'm gonna go buy a pizza and hang out until it's time to dump the body.
So would you say at this point it's more of a compulsion?
It is. He can't.
He's doing it like. Are we talking about? You're saying and the next day, and the next day. Like over what period of time was this?
At one point, he sped up to where he was killing somebody every day.
For a month, for a week?
For a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Like towards the end.
Yeah, that when they're escalating and they get into a frenzy phase.
Right.
Because
she's around somewhere.
Who? What?
Mari wanted to know if Sash was already asleep.
No,
I already
got food.
No, she just came out, snagged some food.
and ran back to her cave to devour it because it's delicious.
Mike made food.
So we have gone, all of these things are going on and on and on. Now, remember, he got out of, he was released again. In the beginning of March of 1980. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in May, so 2 months, he abducted and murdered an acquaintance whom he later stated he had decided to kill when he had awoken that morning because he was tired of having him around.
Okay.
So the body of a 17-year-old discarded at a Westminster gas station, found on May 18th. In addition to being bound and sodomized, He was extensively beaten around the face and body, and then ligature strangled. There was one more victim a week later. He took a 14-year-old Southgate kid from a bus stop in Downey, strangled him, and then discarded the body. So a lot of media attention here. $50,000 in reward for information, which was actually offered by a gay rights advocacy group, because this guy's giving gay people a bad name.
Yeah, because if you listen to this stuff, you've done 3 or 4 of these men who are into young boys, and
Yep.
well, it does give because people just start to associate pedophilia with being gay, and that's by and large that's not true.
So
We're talking about some very brutal, very public things, but that's not the majority of the community.
right. So very early on in 1980, this activist is putting out this reward. The cops are starting to figure it out. And so they get together and they form a task force kind of on their own. And they start putting these cases together. And one cop calls another cop and goes, "Hey, just for giggles, do you have any missing young men approximately this age that fits this description in your district?" "Yeah, we do." "Okay, well, I think we have your body. Now we have this guy who's missing. Do you have him?" "No, we don't, but call over here." So now the cops are starting to kind of put it all together and realize what's happening here.
Yeah, they're creating a timeline.
They're starting to create the timeline. So in May of 1980, there's this kid. His name is Pugh. He was picked up for auto theft, and he went to Los Padrinos, which is a juvenile detention center. Hey, it's the same one I went to. So he hears a local radio broadcast and talks to one of the counselors, and he says he knows this perpetrator because he's one of the people that has escaped. So this counselor tells the cops. They turn around and go to the Los Angeles Police Department, the LAPD homicide detective, and give him the information. They go back to Los Padrinos. They talk to this kid. Now, he withholds the fact that he had actually been one of the accomplices at one of the murders.
Oh.
But he gave him all the information, and that allowed this detective to pretty much figure out that Bonin was the freeway killer. So he stopped. He just 9 days, nothing. All of a sudden, they are watching him, and after 9 days, on June 11th, 1980, They saw him driving in a seemingly random manner throughout Hollywood, trying to get 5 separate teenagers into the van. He got a youth into the van. They follow him until the van parks near the Hollywood freeway. They approach it. They hear some screams and bangs. And these 2 plainclothes officers force their way in and discover him in the act of assaulting a 17-year-old runaway who he had handcuffed and bound. So they initially charged him with the rape of a minor, held him on suspicion of the murder of the previous one. He had a $250,000 bond. His girlfriend notified his boss of his arrest, adding to the arrest, adding that the arrest was in connection to the freeway killer case and causing his, accomplice, one of his accomplices who worked with him, to, get a little freaked out. That person was eventually arrested. Investigators discovered numerous things attesting to his culpability in the freeway murder. Various restraining devices, including lengths of nylon cord, an assortment of knives, a tire iron, household implements such as pliers, wire coat hangers, that the handles were gone, that you couldn't get out from inside unless it was through the driver's seat. They also found a scrapbook of clippings related to the murder.
Right.
And he originally, went with the whole "I'm innocent." He eventually
Did he eventually give it up? Like, yeah, it's me.
He eventually gave it up. So one of the things he wanted to, the cops gave him a letter that was from one of the mothers. And she just wanted to know where her son's body was. He said that he wasn't doing this to ease the mother's pain, but that he knew that if they took him on this trip so he could say, where the body was, that they'd buy him lunch. So he wanted a hamburger. Yeah. So that's why he confessed and told him where this body was. So over the course of several days, he confesses to abducting, raping, and killing, unaliving 21 men and boys. He starts telling it very simply and then goes into some very graphic details. He did get linked by blood and semen. And the distinctive green trilobal shaped carpet fibers found on victims' bodies.
Finally, the carpet fibers.
They also found hair samples that were his hair. Hey.
He left behind a plethora of evidence they could link
Right.
him to all of this shit, right?
Yep. So on August the 8th of 1980, the charges were formally submitted. At this stage, without legal representation, he was appointed a lawyer. And he was his lawyer throughout the entire thing until Bonin wanted him gone. Police got a warrant authorizing them to search Butts, Butts, which is one of his accomplices, they had evidence linking him to several of the murders, which Bonin had already confessed to. So he was brought into court in July. These two guys were believed, and this was what the news report was, that these two guys are believed to be responsible for kidnapping, torture, and murder of at least 21 young males between May of 1979 and June of 1980.
Wow. So, a little over a year.
13 months. So he goes in, they round up his other accomplices, basically. Butts commits suicide. So he's not being prosecuted. Both the other two, Miley and Monroe, who were the other two accomplices, two of the other four accomplices, they agree to testify in exchange for being spared the death penalty.
Can somebody say something in the chat, because it looks like nobody said anything for almost a half an hour. Just so I know y'all are still here.
At least a damn.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm worried maybe we're not here, you know?
Oh, no, we're here.
Thank you, Neener. I can always count on Neener. He's got us.
Okay. So,
that's quite an escalation, though, because you said there was a 2-week period where he was doing one every day.
yeah. So, they prosecute him, they convict him. In January of 1982, they convicted him of 10 of the murders for which he was tried. But they found him not guilty for a couple of the murders. Because they were not able to, they couldn't prove those as, and they knew that going into the prosecution.
They just hoped to get him passed by because it was, clear.
Right. If they could get
in a circumstantial way.
But they knew that they weren't going to get convictions on those. But for the families, it was symbolic that they were included and that he was tried for it. And that's
important because families need closure.
Yeah. And I don't know that there's ever really closure for this.
No,
but at least,
because it doesn't make any sense and it's not right. And, it's bad enough that he was molesting them, but also just to throw them out like trash along the highway, one after another.
Yeah. So this is a special circumstance. Okay. So special circumstances in criminal law are the actions of the accused or conditions under which a crime, particularly homicide, was committed, such as factors required or allowed for a more severe punishment. That's the definition. So, in California, if you commit multiple murders in the course of robbery, you meet the special circumstances, which means it puts the death penalty on the plate.
Okay.
So, the jury unanimously recommended he receive the death penalty. He was cleared of the sodomy and the murder of one of his victims because he led the police to the body, and he had an agreement in place with his lawyer and the police that said if he took them there, they couldn't use that against him in court. And there was another one that they couldn't prosecute him for because he adamantly said he didn't do that. He was, and what are you going to do? You know, he's like, well, yeah, I killed this one. I killed that one. I killed this one. I killed that. Nope, didn't do that one.
Yeah. Because why would he bother? Nope, not that one. Uh-oh. Els, did you get booted out? Anybody there? Uh-oh. Okay. Let me check in with Els. Els, did you get booted out too?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's back on there. I think you have to sign back in.
I think it's a load.
Okay. Oh, please. Minor technical difficulties. All right, let's try this again. Go over to Facebook. All right. You're linked. Okay. Minor technical difficulties. These things happen. Nope, no streaming platform is perfect. Just waiting for Els to come back in. I think she might have gone outside. Hey, Sherry, how you doing? See, we didn't see all these here's when something happened. We had some kind of hiccup. So I'll be back in a momentarily. So what do you guys think about the case? Any thoughts? I don't think it's any less frustrating today than it was in like the 70s and 80s. It's just frustrating in a different way, I think. Um, You've watched the show about the freeway strangler, so did you already know most of that? Well, I can't make her come back in here. I think she might have gone out to smoke. Yeah, I don't know either, Steffi. We'll have to wait till, or Jen, we'll have to wait till she comes back in. So I worked on my Waffle House page. Started at Waffle House and it's going to end on a hiking trail. I just haven't decided which one yet. Know where you have to be yet. So I've got, so this is the hole. It goes to here. Goes over here. I'm just picking out a hiking trail because this is a map. It's Colorado up here, but it's New Mexico down here. So I'm trying to find a nice kind of remote hiking trail near Bloomfield. Or Bloomfield, New Mexico. Because Angel Peak National Recreation Area is around there too. Okay. Everybody wants to know how it ends and how this relates back to you earlier, because somehow we've all missed that.
All right, hold on. All right, so
No, the pancakes are good at Waffle House. I like Waffle House. I know not everybody does. Go ahead, Else. I'm sorry.
So he gets tried in LA County. He gets tried they moved him to Orange County. Now, he got the death penalty for the LA County.
Yeah.
But they moved him down. They put him in solitary and take him off death row.
He had minor victims.
Well, because they had to try him in Orange County as well.
For some of the crimes.
Right.
That makes sense.
So, and part of that security was because gang members beat him.
Were some of his victims Latino?
Yes.
And he was white?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But also, serial killers of children, even if they're teenagers, don't do very well in prison.
So there were 204 prospective jurors in Orange County.
Oh, did they have a hard time finding a jury for him?
Voir dire was horrible for them. Voir dire is the process of picking the jury. They got 16.
Yeah. And how many
That's
do they
12
need?
jurors and 4 alternates.
Okay.
However, because of all of the news coverage and everything, his lawyer tried the whole, that they wouldn't be able to get an untainted jury.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
So he was convicted again in August the 1st, basically saying, and the jury announced on August the 22nd that, again, sentenced to death for each count. He got 4 more death sentences. So after those 4 convictions, they went ahead and sent him up to San Quentin, where he waited to, die in the gas chamber or in the electric chair. he was on death row for 14 years. And he started painting and, reading and writing. He published some books, short stories.
Really?
Yeah. He actually got awards, minor awards, for his artwork, his stories, his poems, all of that stuff. He corresponded with a lot of people. And some of them were the mothers of some of his victims. He never had any remorse for any of it.
Not untypical for serial killers, though.
Right. He actually said things to some of the victims' parents, like, well, your son was my favorite because he was such a screamer.
Oh, Jesus.
And here we go. Ready? This is you go into jail as a minor criminal, so he gets to San Quentin, and he becomes friends with Lawrence Bittaker, who's another serial killer.
Yep.
Randy Kraft, who was actually somebody who had the same nickname, the Freeway Killer.
Oh.
Yeah. Douglas Clark, Jimmy Lee Smith. He meets these people, and he becomes friends.
What do you think they chat about?
Yeah. But so Douglas Daniel Clark, he's the Sunset Strip killer.
Okay.
So there's all these serial killers that he's like sitting. It's like the old serial killer's home. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Who'd you kill? How many did you do? So originally he was supposed to get like the electric chair or the gas chamber, but in 1982 they changed it over to lethal injection. So and what happened was the guy that had gotten killed before him, that had gone into, that had been dismissed unalived prior to him, the guy spent like 15 minutes in the gas chamber. Because they decided that this was cruel and unusual. And that's the thing. If they go in there and they hold their breath, and for some reason they seem to think that if they go in there, like there is documented history that people that are on death row will actually practice holding their breath. If they're going to be in the gas chamber, they would hold their breath to see how long they could hold it, because the chemical dissipates after so long. And once they put the chemical in, they can't do it again, because that's killing them twice. Now, if they have more than one death sentence, I guess they could.
But you still have to go through some kind of process. You would.
But yeah, but they're like, they try to hold their breath, because after a certain amount of time, the chemical dissipates.
Yeah.
So they would go in there and they would try to hold their breath as long as they could, and they would end up convulsing and having seizures, and it was extremely disturbing for people who had to witness it. Bonin filed every appeal he could. Every one of them unsuccessful. He even went to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Really?
Yeah. And the Supreme Court turned him down. He went to a final submission to the United States Court of Appeals in 1994. He said that he didn't get effective counsel at his trials, that he had been denied due process at the Los Angeles trial due to the judge's refusal to suppress the testimony of the two co-conspirators that agreed to testify against him in order to get lower sentences themselves. And that his lawyer didn't say anything about his brain damage, his other mitigating circumstances, none of that stuff. Unfortunately, in 1995, the appellate judges stated that they found no evidence of any legal misconduct. There was no evidence that existed that the 13 jurors that were on his Orange County trial, that they had had any kind of pretrial exposure to the freeway killer case. And that since they didn't have like saturated, they didn't have a saturated knowledge of it, that, they couldn't be prejudiced. And that, truthfully, at that point, he wasn't going to, there was nobody in Southern California. I mean, like my brother at the time was a sophomore in high school, and my mom didn't let him out of her sight because he was in the victim profile. So he was executed by lethal injection inside the gas chamber at San Quentin, February 23rd, 1996. First person to be executed by lethal injection in the history of the state of California, and his execution occurred 14 years after his first death sentence had been imposed. He said that he had made peace with the fact that he was about to die. His only major regret is that he had not pursued his teenage passion of bowling long enough to have turned professional.
But no regrets about the murders.
He said that a lot of the people believe that he should die for what he has done, but that he didn't agree with that. He has no anger towards anybody, but he doesn't mean, but that didn't mean that he didn't think the death penalty was wrong. He thought the death penalty was wrong.
Well, because he was going to get it.
Yeah. Hi, Harry. So at 6 p.m. on the day of his execution, he was moved from his cell to the death watch cell, where he ordered his last meal: 2 large pizzas, 3 pints of ice cream, and 3 6-packs of Coke, which he ate while watching an episode of Jeopardy. He spent his final hours in the company of 5 individuals whom he had chosen for this occasion, which included his attorney, a chaplain, a prospective biographer. He seemed resigned to his fate, and the lawyer even said he didn't feel any remorse from the client. He was escorted from the holding cell into the execution chamber. In his final statement given to the prison warden 1 hour prior to it, prior to the execution at midnight, he again expressed no remorse for his crime and left a note that stated, "I feel the death penalty is not an answer to the problems at hand. I feel it sends the wrong message to the people of this country. Young people act as they see other people acting instead of as people tell them to act. I would advise that when a person has a thought of doing anything serious against the law, that before they did, they should go to a quiet place and think about it seriously." He was pronounced dead at 12:13 a.m. He was 49 years old. At the time of his execution, none of his relatives chose to witness it. But there were several witnesses there that were relatives of the victims, which, by the way, I have to tell you, no. Victim relatives should never be allowed in the death house.
That's not right.
They shouldn't just...
no matter what they did, that's not how you want to remember your...
Yeah. According to several witnesses, there was no complications. He was very sedated. The then sitting governor rejected the plea for clemency, and referred to Bonin as, I quote, the poster child for capital punishment.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel.
Right? So Bonin and 3 of his 4 known accomplices were convicted of 14 murders. He's also charged with 2 additional that he was acquitted of in Los Angeles. Some were committed, 10 of them were committed in Los Angeles. 4 of them that he was convicted of were in Orange County. I can tell you this. My friend, her brother, was killed in May of 1980. And his mom, his grandmother, and his sister just kind of left one day. And I didn't know why. But they just packed up and left. And it was probably about 2 or 3 years later when my mother had figured out what had happened. Her son, her brother, was one of the victims that he was convicted of. And that is my connection to that case. I was actually very good friends with his sister, and he was good friends with my brother.
I don't think I have any connection to any serial killer anywhere. That's got to weigh on you, though, because knowing someone personally, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the odds are of this, but I actually have a connection to 2 serial killers.
Uh-huh.
The best man, when I married my children's dad,
Yeah.
his sister was the victim of a serial killer. You remember the guy that used to cut off the arms
Vaguely.
so they couldn't identify the bodies because they wouldn't have fingerprints?
Okay.
She was his 5th victim.
I don't. When did this happen? Like,
This was in the
just a broad date range.
late 80s, early 90s in Arizona.
I don't remember that at all. Where was I? Late 80s. So late 80s, I would have been in 80s, 90s. Jessica was born in 88 and Stephen was born in 90. So we were in Arizona at the time, and I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. Texas and Arizona, the guy was active in.
Huh. I wonder why I didn't know that.
Yeah, she had been at a concert at the Tucson Convention Center, and her car wouldn't start. And somebody she knew had asked her if she wanted to ride. She said, no. I called the tow truck. I'm waiting. And they went, okay, see you later. And they went ahead and left her there. And the next day her car was still there, but she wasn't there. And like 2 days after that, they found her in the desert with her arms gone.
Well, shit.
Mm-hmm. And so she was added to this list of serial killer victims.
Wow.
And her brother was the best man at my wedding.
All right. Well, this is my start. This is the
And
this
that,
is the-
ladies and gentlemen, is your serial killer for the week.
okay. right. Well, that's all we got. I hope some of you will watch Frozen Ground if you're interested. And we'll be back next week on Elsa's channel. Preferably with a serial killer that doesn't kill young boys.
I'll tell you what, I'll try to find one that's less annoying. Harry, your fan club's here.
It's not annoying. It's just after like 3 weeks of, hey, this is a pedophile, I'd like to see something that isn't a pedophile.
Okay. I will come up with one that is not a pedophile for you.
Then you can go back to whatever.
But I hope you've all enjoyed your little trip down memory lane here, and that maybe I told you a little something about the case you didn't know.
I'd heard of it, but I didn't really know that much about it.
All right,
I didn't
so
realize you killed that many in such a short period of time.
drag your butt out here because it's wheat cake time.
Oh, all right, I'm on my way. Wheat cake.
Wheat cake.
Wheat cake and cat butt.
All right, Harry, you got to get down. Get down. Thank you. All right, so today we're going to try the red bean paste.
Get Mike in here on this. It's going to be a three-way.
I know. I think he's out there.
No, he's in the staring at the fish tank.
Honey,
Actually, I was staring at my phone. Thank you. Mikey just sent me photos of this bathroom.
We need a knife.
Building.
William Bonin, the Freeway Strangler.
Is that the other guy that's known as the Freeway Strangler?
No,
Or is
that's
that the one we
that's
did
the
tonight?
one we did tonight.
Here. Even a cutting board to
Ooh, schmancy.
Ooh, schmancy, schmancy.
kniff.
A kniff.
Kniff.
A kniff board. Here we go. So we're going to cut this sucker open and see what it looks like.
Oh, it's all in one place.
We got one little lump of red bean paste in here.
Okay.
That one's for Sandy. Okay, so this has the same sweet smell.
Mm-hmm. It tastes familiar, like the red bean paste.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what it reminds me of.
It's not bad.
It's still very Hawaii rolly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think I would like it better if there wasn't. Because you gave me the part with the lot of bean paste
Oh.
in it.
You want to try this part?
No.
But you're right. The bread tastes a lot like the Hawaiian bread again. But
Raisin.
you're right. Huh?
Currants, maybe?
Yeah,
Like mashed
but it's
raisins.
gritty.
Yeah.
But it's gritty.
Like a mashed raisin.
Okay, it's not bad
I don't know if I need it again because it's all concentrated.
in one little spot.
And I think I would prefer the flavor to be spread out.
More
Spread
spread, out.
It was a little bit much to eat all in one.
Yeah.
You can chop that. You do not have to eat that.
Not quite sure
I
about
don't
it yet.
dislike it.
All right, so that's our weird food for the week.
Welcome to our we have to go to different grocery stores. We have to go like an Asian grocery store.
I know.
And
All right, but that's it for me, ladies. Thank you so much. I will see you all next week on my channel, where we'll do it all again.
with a different serial killer. I will still be working on this page because I haven't done the hiking portion yet.
Yeah, you got to get that part done.
So I will just briefly. I saw them at Waffle House because I was gonna go hiking. These bitches right here. And then this is the end where they got buried and there's we're missing the middle part of the story there.
All right, so I'm out of here.
Me too. See you guys next week. I will be live tomorrow for Food-a-Teeny if you guys are up for it at about 5:30. Bye. 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 The end. See you guys later. Have a great night. Bright blessings and hugs and hisses to you all.